Hello friends, welcome to a new video. Look, today we're diving back into the fantastic world of dinosaurs, and we're going to do it by discovering new dinosaur figures that we have inside this box. Also, it looks like we have 3 herbivorous dinosaurs and 1 carnivorous dinosaur. Now we'll take them out to learn their names and some of their characteristics. Also, in today's video, we'll be using the Big Book of Dinosaurs. You already know that I love using it to look things up, since inside we have a ton of information about all of them. Also, in today's video, we also have other specimens that we've shown in previous videos, like this really cool one, for example. It's a big Carnotaurus. Also, it's articulated, since it can move both its legs and its tail. And the best part is that it can move its jaw and has sounds and lights. You'll see now. Look how cool it is. By pressing the jaw, its eye lights up green and we can hear its loud roar. This carnivorous dinosaur is characterized by the 2 horns it has on the top of its head, which are very similar to a bull's horns, hence its name. In addition, a characteristic of the Carnotaurus is that its head was very large, but the sides were flattened to make it lighter. Super cool! Let's keep discovering more information about it. No más información sobre todos ellos. But first, let's take a look at this little box. As you can see, it tells us that through dinosaur figures, we can develop our imagination and also create thousands of different stories with our imagination. Here we have several carnivorous dinosaurs. Let's open the box to take out all these specimens. And here they are. Look, we can use the back of the cardboard to create our own super scenes. It looks like they're in the middle of the vegetation. And we also have a river at the bottom. And here we have the first one. At first glance, it looks like a pretty terrifying dinosaur, especially because of the strong claws it has on its front legs. However, it was actually a herbivorous dinosaur that only ate plants, leaves, grass, and fruit. Also, when you have doubts about whether a dinosaur is a carnivore or a herbivore, the first thing you should do is look at its jaw. As you can see, this dinosaur has a small jaw and a beak at the front. That's something characteristic of herbivores, which they used to dig in the ground to eat or look for food. This dinosaur is called Therizinosaur. Also, it was a feathered dinosaur. Its whole body was covered with feathers, especially on the back of its front legs, and more specifically on its tail. Look, its feathers here were longer and bushier than on the little figure. I like that it's articulated. Look, it can move its tail from side to side, and also its legs. That allows us to put it in different poses and positions. Crouch down, more upright. We can also make it look like it's eating food from the ground. As you can see, it had 3 strong claws that it used defensively. That is, the Therizinosaurus would wave its front arms very quickly. That way, it could defend itself and scare off any carnivores that tried to attack it. A truly fascinating dinosaur, and look how interesting. On these pages of the encyclopedia, we have information about both the Triceratops and the Therizinosaurus. Here we have a really cool illustration where we can also see that it had a long neck. It also tells us in the Dino Facts that its name means reptile. It lived at the end of the Cretaceous period and could reach an average of about 12 meters from the tip of its tail to the tip of its snout. It was found in the area of Mongolia. We'll leave it here to continue with another specimen. How about we take a look at this long-necked dinosaur? I'm sure many of you already know its name. It's called Brachiosaurus. There are many different species of long-necked dinosaurs, however, the most well-known are the Brachiosaurus and the Diplodocus. Although both are long-necked dinosaurs, they have some differences. For example, on this occasion, we know for sure that it is a Brachiosaurus. especially because of the shape of its head, and also because the Brachiosaurus had front legs that were slightly longer than its back legs. As we can see here in this little figure, this was the case, since it had to support the weight of this long neck. I also really like the little figure because of its colors. The bottom part is green with the underside in yellow, but I like it because of all these spots that cover the entire upper part of its body. As you know, the Brachiosaurus was a giant among giants. It could reach about 22 meters in length from its tail to the tip of its head, especially in adult and male specimens, which were the largest. Also, according to experts, they say its brain was about the size of a walnut. However, it had a very large heart since it needed to be able to pump all the blood, send it up through its neck, and reach its head. In addition, it also had a long and sturdy tail. It loved eating leaves from the tops of the trees. It was so large that it could eat tons of food a day. It also drank many liters of water every day. That's why they always lived in areas where there was a lake or river nearby, so they could eat and drink. In the book, we also have a lot of information about him. The Dino Facts tell us that he lived during the Jurassic period, more than 150 million years ago. Also, I like this photograph because it shows the fossilized remains of a Brachiosaurus skull, as well as the fossilized remains of its front fingers. You already know that thanks to the fossil remains found by paleontologists, we know a lot of information about dinosaurs. Here we can see the shape of its skull, and even that part of its jaw and teeth are still fossilized. And now it's time to continue with one of the largest predators that has ever existed on planet Earth. It's the famous Tyrannosaurus Rex, a carnivorous dinosaur that had a jaw made up of a total of 60 sharp teeth. Some of them were quite large and could reach up to 20 centimeters. This figure, since it's of a carnivorous dinosaur, also comes with an articulated jaw. Unlike the previous two we've seen, if we open it, we can even see the detail of its long tongue. The Tyrannosaurus Rex could reach a length of about 14 meters also. It was a bipedal dinosaur that walked on its large and sturdy hind legs. In addition, it also had a long and heavy tail that it used as a counterbalance. The most distinctive feature of the T-Rex was its large head. Just the skull alone could reach more than 1.5 meters in length. In addition, it had two very small front legs, which only had 2 fingers, something very characteristic of it. I also like the figure because of the details it has. In addition, this dinosaur lived on planet Earth during the Cretaceous period, more than 65 million years ago. In the book, we also have a lot of information about Tyrannosaurus Rex. It comes with this fantastic illustration where we can appreciate all the details of its physical features. It even tells us that a child lying down could fit inside its mouth. We also have a photograph with the fossil remains of one of its fangs. Look, it was as big as an adult's hand. It also tells us in the Dino Facts that it could reach about 10 tons in weight, and its name means tyrant lizard. Another thing I like about these pages is that they show us a size comparison between the skulls of a T-Rex and a gorilla, so we can see the size difference. Super cool too. In addition, it also specifies that it could reach about 6 meters in height. Impressive. And now we have one left to see. The last specimen, which is one of the most famous dinosaurs that exist, is the great Triceratops, characterized by its large crown-shaped skull. And above all, it is recognizable by the 3 horns it had on the top of its head. It had 2 horns on the top that were much longer than the 3rd horn, which was located right above its nose. Just the horns on top could reach more than 1.5 meters in length. And it also had a strong beak. As I mentioned, for example, Triceratops loved to dig in the ground to eat tough roots. Also, it was a quadrupedal dinosaur that had much larger and more robust hind legs than front legs. Sometimes it would put all its weight on its hind legs to climb up tree trunks and feed on leaves and branches. It also had a long and heavy tail. It lived during the Cretaceous period more than 65 million years ago and used its strong skull and especially its horns. It used them defensively to protect itself from any predators or animals that tried to attack it. In the book, we have a lot of information about the great Triceratops. Also, in this illustration, we see a mother along with her baby, which is shown in a smaller size. It tells us that it could reach an average length of about 8 meters and measure about 3 meters in height. Meanwhile, regarding its weight, it could reach between 6 and more than 9 tons. Also, I like it because it also comes with an image of the complete fossil remains of a large Triceratops skeleton. You already know that we know everything we know about fossil remains, thanks to the work of paleontologists, both men and women, who are in charge and the ones responsible for excavating at dig sites to discover the remains and to discover and investigate all the information about them. And now that we've finished with today's video, I hope you liked it. If so, you can help me by giving me a thumbs up so I can keep making lots of videos for you. Here we have the 4 dinosaur figures we've learned about today. And now, before I say goodbye, I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll see you here on Lady Juguetes with the next video and more amazing dinosaurs. A big kiss. Mwah. Goodbye.